right, so to answer the question, how have I been liking the Alltel so far? So far, so good. This scan tool is pretty legit. I've been enjoying it. Huge shout out and special thanks to Renegade's Garage for making the trade with me with some tools that I had. Like I said, all I had was an over-glorified pocket reader, and it just doesn't do nearly as much as this does. So right now I'm getting ready to clear codes. I replaced downstream O2 sensors. I'm going to check some data, and then we're going to take this thing for a road test. All right, it did take a minute for this thing to read all the modules. Let's just do a quick erase. I'll go to data and we'll road test this thing. All right, well, for some reason or another, it's not reading it, which is just fine. Road test this thing, see if the check engine light comes back on, and if need be, we'll hook up the shop scan tool, AKA the Snap-on Zeus. Let's do it. All right, so for this road test discussion topic, because I do have to drive this thing and make sure check engine light doesn't come back on and it's doing what it's supposed to do before smog, is going to be, you know, a part of me is always going to be Mr. Mopar for sure, okay? A part of me is always going to be Chrysler in some way, shape, or form. If you had to ask me how it was going at Chrysler when I was there, look, I grew up with that. That was my brand that I grew up with. And I say grew up with as a technician, okay? Meaning it was really the first place that I ever rooted myself down and established myself as an automotive mechanic / tech, you know what I mean? Especially in the heavy line, even with a little diagnostic work, the course work, the certifications that I had. Look, if you tally up all my time with the Chrysler dealership, I probably have about 5 years, somewhere right around there, of experience with Chrysler. So I know the product line, I know the Y-Tech stuff, I know how to order parts, I understand how to read their flow charts, I understand the TSBs. I've done plenty of recalls and RRTs. Part of me will always be Mr. Mopar, man, I'm telling you. There is an inner part of me, though, that's even deeper than Mr. Mopar, and that's Mr. Independent, right? I have this independent way of thinking, this independent shop lifestyle way of thinking, and for me overall, I'm more suited and better as an independent mechanic, in my opinion. I really like the whole family vibe and family atmosphere. You know, not people going after each other's throats for not getting certain work and whining and complaining about hours. You don't deal with that really at the independent shop. Whatever comes in, you do. And you're not really doing just to boost your own hours. You're doing so the shop itself can succeed as a whole. Everybody's on a way different wave stream. Of course, guys want to make good money, you know. We get paid good money. But we want to make sure the shop stays open too. So our concern will always be shop first, then our own concern about our own checks. And then it's like, well, what did we do, or what could we have done as individual, you know, mechanics at the shop? What could we have done differently to help to improve profit, you know, to improve productivity? How many recommendations did we make? Were we fix first visit? Did we take that approach to it? Some of the stuff you learn from the dealership realm too, you know. A couple of the guys I work with, they were former, you know, dealership techs. One of the guys was at Chrysler for 20 years, you know what I mean? And now he's at the independent shop. So just to kind of give you an idea, we all kind of played that dealership cycle for a minute. Some of us just kind of were better at one brand than the other. You know, I did spend a very short period of time at Ford. When I left, when I was done being a lube tech after 2 years and I moved to SoCal, I did go to work at Palm Springs Motors Ford for about 4 or 5 months. That didn't work out. The pay sucked too. There was plenty to complain about there. I wasn't a good fit, you know what I mean? Chrysler, I was a dang good fit. I've always been a good fit. Aside from that one little incident that I had at I-10, I've been the only one to voluntarily leave, really. So, but yeah, no, there's always a little part of me that's Mr. Mopar. I love the Jeeps. I love the Ram brand. There's a lot to love about that, you know, but I'm also a Chevy guy at heart. So as much Mr. Mopar as I am, I also bleed that Chevy orange, okay? Like when I was in community college, a couple of buddies that I had, they're the really ones that kind of taught me the ropes as far as engine building, transmission rebuilding. We did a lot of dirt track race car builds. I was very much like a Robert Duvall of Days of Thunder at this point, you know what I mean? I was very much into rebuilding engines at my house and cutting and grinding and welding and fabricating panels for the race cars, setting up gauges and stuff like that, rebuilding small blocks and big blocks for the track. That was my jam. That was my thing, man. And I always thought, you know, maybe one day I'll get a chance to work at a performance shop, or I'll get a chance to own my own engine repair shop. I'm not even concerned about any of that right now, okay? It's a half pipe dream. A lot of these guys here, though, they're still pulling some side work here at the shop. Rest assured, if there's ever going to be an engine build, I already put my little 2 bits out there and said, hey, you guys ever want an extra set of hands rebuilding engines? That's kind of like my jam. I've totally got patience for that. I love that stuff. As long as I can take my time and I ain't got to rush it, that's what I enjoy doing. I'd be curious to know what you guys got going on. Oh, check this out. All these cars. Ooh, dang, look at these cars. Ooh. What is this? This is wild, man. I got no idea what's going on in Pioneer Town. I'm literally just driving up here because it's part of our test drive process to make sure the check engine light doesn't come back on. And these guys got a whole car meetup thing going on. Pagani. What in the heck is a Pagani? That's wild. At Pappy and Harriet's. Pretty cool. I'm telling you, man, some of the stuff that I see that randomly pops up, this was not planned at all. They didn't have this going on earlier in the morning when I came up here for my first test drive. This place was blank. And now they got the Pagani. What is that, like a cheaper version of the McLaren? Or is the McLaren the cheaper version of the Pagani? I gotta know. Okay, so I guess, you know, I'll always be a little Mr. Mopar. I'll always bleed a little Chevy orange. And we just saw some Pagani meetup. So that's all I got for this video. See you guys next time. Cheers and deuces. But before we go, I still want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about yourselves. What do you feel like you're most suited at? Being an independent tech or being a dealership tech? And if you're an independent tech and you used to be a dealership tech, do you still have that little bit of dealer inside of you? Let us know down in the comments. See you guys tonight. Later.